Day Dawns ARKS. Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on March 31st, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
Greetings, everyone. Hope you're having a good day.
So this is kind of excited. We're gonna have the first real story chapter, basically since before we fought Vile here tomorrow.
At least that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, there was some initial confusion about the when the story chapter was actually going to release because it didn't look like it was included in the patch notes. But actually over in the Discord, Lurker picked up on something that I picked up on as well. Basically, there's a note in there saying that there's a possible weather bug that happens after Chapter 8, so it's probably still on track to happen tomorrow.
Yep, unless they pushed it back just because of that weather bug.
Could be. We'll have to see how things play out. But aside from that, we've also got some pretty huge news from the Clementine team. And we'll get into that very soon, but those that have played the original Phantasy Star universe when the servers were live should be very happy about the news that came out from that team over the past month here. And then we also have a small announcement from the Affinia team about their Easter event. But we'll get into all of that. Something I kind of want to bring up before we really get going here is there's been some weird stuff happening in the missions as of late, hasn't there, Rooks, in NGS?
Yeah, there was. Well, it appears there were some issues with Crawford's lines in PSO2, right, and NGS. Recently, when he was, I'm trying to remember, in the recent limited quest.
Yep, well, I think it was an emergency quest actually, but even before that, the prior limited quest that took place in the Nameless City, that also had some weird stuff happening, where some elements apparently got changed compared to what they were expecting over in the command center.
Yep. For the whole thing with Crawford, a lot of people were theorizing that it's because we're seeing an alternate timeline. Crawford's messages bleeding in, but that doesn't really. Well, okay, I'm not going to say that's incorrect, but it's one of a few possibilities, and it could just be that Fire was having issues and Crawford had to step in.
Yep.
And as Earning Key stepped in and explained, it appeared to be more the whole thing with Crawford's portrait not showing up appeared to be more of a corruption with the system than actually anything weird going on.
Yeah.
In the cloud version of NGS, it would appear that it actually displayed Crawford as the player character's model. And the current video going around is just of a person doing a cosplay of a dark Crawford, basically.
Yeah, you would think that a bug like that would get caught before a huge spoiler happens on something that's still supported to this day, which is the cloud version, which is basically how Switch players still play New Genesis to this day, effectively. Although there's also the PC client as well. But again, that's a Japanese exclusive thing. That never came out in the West.
Yep.
So right now we're just waiting for the headline to start up here. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering when they are going if Sega's ever going to port NGS to Switch 2. They might not at this point. Sega may just consider, okay, it's start.
Yep.
It appears to be starting now.
everyone. It's time for NGS Headline Wave, the official program of PSO2 New Genesis version 2. I'm Yui Hasegawa, and I'll be your host for this broadcast. I'll be bringing you all the latest info on NGS. Be sure to stay tuned until the end. Guess what, everyone? Today's broadcast marks 1 year since we started NGS Headline Wave. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been growing my hair out this year. I wish I could just swing by the salon and pick out any old do I want like meteorns do. Oh, and I tried out the dewy contacts the other day. They're amazing. Oh, my
I will
character
say
is
Yui
so
has at
gorgeous.
least done, kind of the best that they can
anyway,
here, given
once again,
the state of the
this
game.
program informs players
I don't
about
think
the
anybody's
present
ever
and
going to
future of
forget about
NGS,
Hero,
including
but
upcoming campaigns,
I mean, at
update
least she's
info,
kind of made the show her own
messages from the
here.
dev team, our responses to questions from players, and peripheral information. That's Headline Wave in a nutshell.
I mean, I'm kind of amazed that they're still doing
This is a
NGS
pre-recorded
headlines
broadcast.
at this
If you would
point.
like to watch in Japanese, you can check it out on the Japanese NGS YouTube
Well, keep
channel.
in mind, they also did those fairly recent live shows, so I'm not that surprised by it.
Without further ado, let's move
Well,
on to the
at
updates
this-
you've
well,
all been waiting for.
I mean,
the-
in-person meetup shows.
Yeah, but the decline has been very visible, and sometimes even when they may be trying to drum up support for
First
the
off,
game
let's
in
take a
Japan
look at our
with
updates for April.
how much
Let's
the
start with
game
a
has
video.
dropped off as of late.
I get your point. Let's see what we got here for the first trailer. But this sounds like Ritem music here.
I believe.
Okay, they're confirming that it's April 1st.
The Alter Realm, correct?
Yep.
We lost contact with the research team a few hours ago.
Hopefully it's just a comms malfunction. But something tells me it's not quite so simple.
The very last communication we received from them simply stated, something's off about this place.
Over there! I see something!
Who are you anyway? Hopefully you're not going to attack me for no reason like they did.
No real hints on the story there.
So we're doing.
So Starless versions of
High
PS
versions, you mean?
yeah, high versions, yeah, of PSO2 bosses now. Okay, that's an interesting looking new interface there. At least it makes it more obvious to the player that a weapon can be upgraded. Oh, that's a fun one for the for those interested in DPS about the crit rate. They're bringing up Idola again.
Oh, there are outfits that people do like from it.
True. Yeah, it's been a few years since that ended now. I'm fairly certain it hasn't gotten to everything yet. But point taken.
Well, if NGS will eat any Phantasy Star related material, I would say, where the heck is the rehashes of the original outfit of the original tetralogy outfits?
Yep. I mean,
I still want the Ney outfit for Angel.
yeah. I mean, it's got some of the music in there, but no, a lot of the other stuff is still available to be used. Not to mention, like, they haven't, like, even brought in monster designs like Dr. Matt or anything like that. Well, they are just milking Luther at this point, aren't they?
It's the only good thing they've gotten recently.
Yep, that's a point. That's a good point. Yeah. V3, yeah, but let's make it actually Mother Brain and not Mother from base PSO2. Whether that takes the original Phantasy Star 2 or the Phantasy Star universe representation. And this is still the first trailer for the month. This is kind of packed. Oh yeah, V3, definitely. In fact, we're covering some of that news today.
How was it? Let me go through the details with these slides. Let's start with this. Starting April 1st, Chapter 8 of the main story will become available. With Vile defeated, Halfa is enjoying a brief moment of respite. But then, the protagonist is once again called upon by Crawford, who breaks the news that he's lost contact with a research team in the mysterious Alter Realm. You take up the call to investigate their whereabouts, but little do you know. Well, you'll have to find that part out for yourself when you play the update. Watch your step. The new limited time quest.
I'd like to
Invasion on
remind the
Shifting Sands, is
developers
coming.
and whoever's writing the story that the
In this
player
quest,
character has their
up to 8
own
ARKS
memories
defenders
that they
can
need to
party up
recover.
venture into the
You don't
unexplored
really have
reaches of the
time
Alter
to
Realm,
worry
North Desert
about
area.
some stray girl's memories
Using the
at
Alter
this point.
Skylifters to make long-distance double jumps, make your way across the floating terrain and search deep into the desert.
Yep, that was kind of a plot point they brought up in the very
In
last
addition to the
chapter.
raid area enemy suppression trial, you'll also encounter new enemies.
Even though that was
High
like
Gilnox and High Grand
a
Misers.
year ago at this point now.
High Gilnox can heal other enemies nearby, so you'll want to take them down first. There's also new title tasks and limited time tasks to go with this limited time quest. Complete the tasks and claim your title. We're giving Slayers a new active class skill, Gunblade Focus Extra Drive. Using this skill will consume 3 Gunblade Focus gauge levels to temporarily strengthen Relentless Blade. And, while the skill is in effect, you can use 1 super enhanced slug shot. We're also making some balance changes to Slayers and some Gunblade abilities, so be sure to test out your loadout.
Hey, Sovereign.
Next up, let's take a look at the new 14-star rarity Arboradio weapon series. You can upgrade to this series from the 14-star Leaf Ladio weapon series. The Arboradio series has higher stats than the Leaf Ladio series while retaining the same potentials, and also adds an effect that recovers your HP at set intervals.
Honestly, I'm just thankful I can play NGS without
Upgrade
needing
your Vault 2
DLSS
item needed
at
for
this
this
point.
upgrade from the limited time quests, among other means. We're also adding 3 new types of skill rings.
So surprised you needed to. I've been able to play NGS without
And the other 2 activate when you
FSR
use
for
photon
quite a
blast.
while.
Yeah, for me, the problem is basically the frame drops, and
These
it's
will
like,
drop from limited
I have
time
no
quests
idea
and
what's
other
causing it
sources.
at
So
this
find the
point.
combination that best fits your playstyle.
And it's like,
Next, I'd like
people
to
talk
highlight
about
Maybe
the
micro stutters,
functionality
I've got
improvements.
macro stutters, in a way.
First,
And it's
we're
still a
improving the
problem
menu
to this
flow for
day.
parts of the item lab menu. Previously, once
It's
you
not like I'm on a
Maybe-
slow drive or anything. I'm
you
on
would
a
then
I'm on
select
a
base item. With
I'm on
this
a
update,
PCIe
the order changed, so you select the base
either
item
Gen 4 or
first,
Gen
and
5
then how to
drive.
enhance it.
Maybe you should switch over to a... Maybe you should try creating a Phantasy partition and
We've
just
also
see how
rearranged the
NGS
layout to
plays
make it easier
on
to
that.
see enhancement information when selecting a weapon or armor as a base item, or
Maybe.
selecting a type of item enhancement.
I don't know. I've got a new system I'm building fairly
Plus,
soon
we
here,
added
so
sorting
I can
options to
definitely
the
check
menu.
things out with that.
Thank you. While you have an active premium set, you can also freely change out the looks in your premium slots. Moving on, certain special items like build parts, mag forms, and music discs that previously had to be used from a specific menu can now also be added directly from your inventory. But just remember that this will only add these items to their respective listings, so if you want to try a new mag form right away, or listen to a new music track, you'll still need to do that from their dedicated menus. We will be changing the mini icons that appear on character creation items to match the same category icons that are shown in the salon. This should make it easier to figure out which category the items you're looking for belong to. So take a look next time you're in a personal shop or checking scratch ticket prize lists. And we're adding an option to hide other players' accessories during victory performances. You can change this as long as other character settings is set to on in the Victory Performance setting menu. When putting items up for sale in your personal shop, you can now keep the same price for the next items you sell. This should be useful anytime you'd like to put up several items that are close in price for sale. Next, we're adding a new option to include your critical rate when your DPS is shown. As long as the display damage per second DPS option is set to on, your critical rate can also now be displayed. Try it out.
I wonder if they're ever going to try another
We're
weapon
also
that's like
adding the ability to
100%
show
crit.
weapons on your ARKS decoys. You can customize this from the
I don't
decoy
know.
menu or set your
I
decoy
think
to
they
not have
got.
any weapons like they function
I
up
think
until now.
they're a little spooked about allowing
Chat
that.
commands to change your weapon camo can now affect camo for multiple
I
weapons.
think
Technically,
again,
you
was
could
that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just kind
All
of.
you have to do to switch to any of your weapon camos
Last time
is type
we went through
/
that,
DNF,
I
followed by the
kind
name of the weapon
of that
camo. It's pretty handy,
that
so make sure to give
whole
it a
effort
try.
of getting that weapon set up really drained my interest in actually
We've
working on
updated
building
the
up my
inventory and shop
weapons.
menus so that
With
any
all the
sorting settings will persist
effort that
until
had to
you
go
close the
into
game.
it.
Previously,
I still
this
haven't
would reset
upgraded from the
anytime
previous
you close
series
a window,
at
but
this
now
point.
these menus will stay sorted in the order you picked last until you
I'm
exit
still
the game.
more powerful than the freebie weapons, but at this point, I just
But
can't
wait,
bring
there's
myself to
more.
actually find a
We're
real
adjusting the
reason
display
to
speed of
upgrade.
story and chat
Yep.
speech balloons to be slightly faster.
Now, the game is
Now, when
is
multiple
definitely not
balloons appear
respecting
one by
player
one,
time
like
at
the
this
story
point
text, they should progress smoother.
when it comes to upgrading stuff.
Also, in the lookbook, previews will now remain showing on the like screen. That should be helpful when you want to send some likes. Some new designs for wallpaper and floor materials are also being added to the creative space. These new build parts add a welcome twist to any creative or alliance space. Coming up next, to celebrate the 5th anniversary 5 Go Beyond event, we're introducing a third round of free Revival Scratch tickets, the 5th Anniv Thankful Ticket. Complete weekly tasks to earn free tickets, which can reward you with AC Scratch ticket prizes. Keep on top of these tasks each week to make sure you get your tickets. For this April Scratch ticket, we're bringing back prizes from January 2022 up to April 2022, the first appearance of the Geometric Labyrinth.
That's something that hasn't been mentioned in a while.
Now it's ticket time. Let's take a look at the Revival AC Scratch Ticket Rewind Collection April 2026. Don't let the timing fool you. It's filled to the brim with AC Scratch Ticket prizes from April's past. The Scratch Camp bonus features motion change items from previous Scratch Camp bonuses, as well as another chance to snag weapon camo, Evil Shioi Naru Yampe. Next, allow me to introduce the new AC Scratch Ticket, Echoes of Idora 2026. This scratch ticket contains idle
Yeah,
outfits for
Wolf,
Jasper,
14
Stella, Windis,
does
and
give you
Kuna
more
from
variety,
Idora
although it
Phantasy
does
Star
take
Saga,
off
as well as emotes and idle
some
motions
extra
inspired
time
by
for
the
some of the
elemental
additional
blast
options to
animations.
come out in 14. Usually, after a major patch, even patch rather,
Plus,
it's usually
all
just the
artists who log in during
crafted
campaign
and
period
the
will receive
tombstone
Idol
stuff that's
themed
available.
acrylic stand and poster build
And then you
parts,
gotta wait
so
on
don't miss out.
other content before the other stuff starts dropping.
Starting April 7th, a new high difficulty quest will be available.
I guess
The major
technically you
target
also have,
suppression
like, the
mission,
Savage Raid
Luther,
stuff as well.
False Conqueror Manifest. The malignant Ruin Luther appearing in this quest is far stronger than the Ruin Luther seen in the limited time urgent quest, and its various time warping attacks are even more furious, making for an overwhelming foe.
Okay, so this is a 4-player version of him then.
Yep.
As in previous major target suppression missions, up to 4 players can participate, and you will fail the quest after a set number of incapacitations. You can accept this quest as many times as you'd like from the teleporter in West Kavaris, so make sure you're ready with your best gear and keep going
Oh
until you
no,
win.
you just showed up there, Ryu.
Yeah,
Along with the new high
but
difficulty
anything
quest, the
prior,
weekly
I
tasks will
don't
be refreshed
think
and the title task
I don't
will
think
be
it's
added.
even been received by YouTube.
Complete these tasks to earn
YouTube
SG
does
and
that,
Master Cubes.
has done that even to me. So,
The limited time quest releasing on April 1st, Invasion on Shifting Sands, will be getting a partial route update on April 7th. This
oh,
new
messaging
route
the
features
the
mobile
urgent
cannon
quest version
AOR.
already
Put on
happened.
a light show
This
as you
is
blast your way to the final
the first
area.
case where this is one of the cases where the urgent quest came out before the 4-player
The
version.
new Legend 4
Yep.
Rarity Lexio series is here. The Lexio series has a potential which grants follow-up attack stocks to you and your party members when a certain amount of damage is dealt to enemies. When you attack an enemy with stocks built up, one stock is depleted and a follow-up attack occurs when you recover some HP. After 4 follow-up attacks, you can receive increased critical hit potency for a limited time. Next, let's talk about the 2 new skill rings. The 2 skill rings being released this time grant effects that activate when landing a certain number of attacks on enemies. There's also a new augment, Telfia Domina. You'll be able to create it in the Items Lab Exchange enhancement materials under augment capsules. They require the new Hainsea
It already
augment
got
as well as Ultia Domina.
new moves compared to base PSO2.
These items can be obtained from Major Target Suppression Mission, Luther, False Conqueror Manifest,
Although
as well
typically,
as
yeah,
Secret
the
Secret.
harder version does actually come with even more additional moves, I guess.
Get ready to meet your favorite frenemy. To celebrate the release of our Idola Phantasy Star Saga collab scratch ticket on April 1st, Ido Rappies from Idola will be popping up around Halfa from April 7th to April 22nd. Be sure to hunt them down. In addition, NGS Season 55 of the Mission Pass will be released. The Bloom Feather Armor accessory from PSO2, the new Marmello headgear and cardboard box mask accessories, and a color variation of the move holding a bouquet
Yeah,
motion change
but
item are
at
up
the
for
same
grabs,
time,
so
they
don't
could
miss out.
always teleport, like in that quick stabbing phase, or when they teleport away from the platform to bring up their time freezing sabers.
For you creative space designers, there's also 2 furniture color variants in Elegant Table C and Elegant Bench C, fireplace build parts, and more. These new build parts add a colorful flair to any creative or alliance space. New items are coming with the release of the SG Scratch Ticket Refined Form April 2026. Total wear of all the Kavaris quintuplets, as well as an NGS spec version of the Marilyn Karina from PSO2 will be included. Nice! The emote, Calisthenics 2, will be available in the Scratch Count bonus, so don't miss out. 3 voice-centric Revival AC Scratch tickets will be releasing on April 7th. NGS Voice Revival brings back NGS Spec voice tickets. PSO2 Type 1 Voice Memories 2026 and PSO2 Type 2 Voice Memories 2026 bring back PSO2 Spec voice tickets.
Actually, they're just going through the entire class. The total wear of the other
You can listen
Other
to a sample of
characters
any of
have
the
already
voices
come
through the
through.
in-game Scratch Ticket prize list, so be sure to find your favorite voices. That's all for the updates coming in the first half of the month. Let's get into the second half of the updates, starting with this
No,
video.
Bastion, I'm fairly certain PSO was the first one. Although, even before then, technically Ren could use the Photon Eraser back in Phantasy Star at the end of the Millennium.
Okay, what the heck was that? Discord just disconnected me. Am I still...
Yeah,
are you
I still hear
hearing
you.
me? Okay. Discord's been acting weird all this time.
Yep, another blue cube quest.
Yep. Well, I think the whole idea was that they were thinking, oh, we can just use we don't have to create new assets that way, except it keeps boring players.
Yep.
Was it?
There's so much potential inside cocoons and towers, and it just, at this point, it just feels like a wasted opportunity. I mean, they definitely have their purpose. It's to get players the points they need to be able to use all the skills they need. But then, yeah, I mean, they could have made fully VR environments inside there.
Also, I think PS0. I don't know. I thought no. Phantasy Star Universe was the first one where cast could use photons.
Alright, so that sounds like the image track for, This came out last year, didn't it, this track?
I don't know. When it comes to stuff related to NGS's characters, I kind of start tuning out until they done a better job of convincing me that they're worth my attention.
Gotcha. Okay, I can see that cat there being something that people want to get. Bring on the Vol Dragon music, huh?
Vol Dragon without the Vol Dragon, unfortunately.
Yep. And Solus is back.
Oh, screw you. See, this is why I don't upgrade my gear anymore.
Yeah,
it just wiped out.
Yeah, I get you. It's a chase that just never ends.
Chase that never ends, and they're making it so you can't go after that. You don't give us enough transfer passes to make this work.
Right. Not to mention the newer augments that keep coming out kind of make those transfer passes a bit worthless in the end. Adam was they were one of the antagonists of episode 4.
Oh, hi, Arwen.
Yep, hi, Arwen. I think he was, but I would need to go back and check. It's been a while. He did eventually become Deus.
How was it? Let me go through the details with these slides. Let's start with this. The new limited time quest, Drill, Fierce Warlord Arena, is releasing April 15th. Up to 4 ARKS defenders can participate in this quest.
You're thinking about the guy that was basically a medical doctor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Standby area, which can be obtained by fulfilling certain requirements. Cooperate to
I say
clear out all the
Ophius.
enemies.
A lot of those characters were
There will also
basically
be
named
limited time tasks
after
and title tasks for this limited time quest.
Olympian spirits.
Complete the task to claim your title.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Next, I'd like to introduce the new AC scratch ticket, Stylish Avenue 2026.
For instance, Falig was an
Put
Olympian
together
spirit of
stylish,
Mars.
casual outfits with the scratch ticket shorts,
Yep.
hoodies, and cardigans. It also includes the eye peace sign and heart pose 2 idle motion changes. On April 21st, to coincide with PSO2 Day, we will be releasing the Revival AC scratch ticket, PSO2 Memories, April 2026. Avatar items released in PSO2 will make their return.
Yeah, he was talking about how Human
Get
Evolution
a
had
prize tag every
stagnated.
15 draws through the scratch count bonus and check out the emote PR Pose 3 that's also making its return. PSO2 Memories will continue to arrive on the PSO2 Day on the 21st of each month. The lineup will change each time, so keep your eyes peeled. The seasonal event, Super Origin Festival 2026, starts on April 22nd. Central City will be decked out in NGS anniversary decor, and Region Mags will receive an NGS theme makeover.
And again, they're running this this anniversary event fairly early, so we might be busy in June. We'll see.
Our navigator for this seasonal event will be Shiemi, sporting a form-fitting hooded dress. You can get rewards by completing her requests, so be sure to talk to her. We'll be adding some limited time tasks as we kick off the seasonal event. Complete these tasks to earn TA Customization Disc X Omni and Master Cubes and Arms Refiner 2. New title tasks will also be added, so complete the tasks and claim your titles. At the Seasonal Points Exchange Shop, you can exchange for a variety of items, including the Luther Crown and Cosmica Waist Cape accessories, so be sure to check that out. Also, the Super Origin Festival 2026 Special Scratch will be available for a limited time. Collect tickets for this scratch and exchange them for a chance at obtaining items such as the Shell Derail and the Diamadia weapon camo. The Super Origin Festival 2026 SP scratch tickets required to pull this scratch can be obtained from the limited time quests and the Seasonal Points Exchange Shop. The new limited time quest Drill Flaming Wave Dash is coming soon. Glide over the lava on a floating board and take down the boss enemy in the final area in this 8-player quest.
Wallon was never really a
You'll find
dolls, were
comfort
they?
relief, blast
So
design, and other surprises that will help you in battle
that
along
on
the way,
top
so
of
be
the
sure to think on your feet.
on top of the other one we saw earlier, I'm kind of wondering where these are,
The enemy at the final
where
area
the
is
Starlets
new
are getting the
Wild
ideas
Enemy.
for these.
Be sure to give it a try. There will also be limited time tasks
could you
and
repeat?
title tasks for
Could
this
you
limited
repeat
time
that?
quest.
The,
Say again,
Complete the
sorry?
tasks and reap your rewards.
you're saying something about someone never being a starless. I missed it.
The limited time urgent quest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Omen of the Planet Breaker D2 has leveled up and is
Oh,
back
you're
with a
you're
vengeance.
asking me?
Yes.
Oh,
Take on Malignant Dark Falls
between
Solace with a team of
Wallon
8 once
and
again. This quest is easier than the
the
major target suppression mission.
mech enemy we saw earlier, mech boss, the
Limited time tasks will
slipping
also
my
be
mind,
added
but
for the return
basically
of this
they're
limited
not,
time urgent quest.
they weren't dolls, so I'm curious where the Starlets
Complete
are,
tasks to receive reward box medal Solus 2026.
how the Starlets are implementing them. If they
Next, I'd like
don't
to
fit
introduce
that
the new
theme.
14-star rarity Evalto armor.
My
It boasts
impression
an
I'm getting
8.2% weapon.
from
In
both
addition
the
to stats
trailer
fitting, it's
and
high
the
rarity.
okay. So in trailer, I saw the
Further
exploration
enhancements for
stat,
this
the
armor are
exploration,
planned in future updates.
our scout team attacking the new heroine.
Additionally,
I
new
think
augments will be added. Lizant Scepter
they were
and 4
swarming
new
with
Aethos-type augments.
particles from the Ultra Realm.
Aethos-type
I think we're going to have
enhanced effects
what we're
compared
seeing
to
is the
Light's
high
augments
the
and
Ultra
can be
Realm
created in
creates
the items
alter
lab exchange enhancement materials
the
in
high
your
enemies
augment
are
capsules.
altered beings essentially.
These require Lizant Scepter, which
Right.
will be obtainable
I
from
get
limited
that.
time urgent quest,
The-
Omen of the
But
Planet Breaker
my
D2,
understanding
as
was
well as future
the
updates.
dolls were basically based on them. So how is it that they're now pulling elements from
Next, we have some line strike updates for you.
other enemies that were never really in the form of
19 new cards are coming
dolls,
to the
I guess.
scratch
I don't
ticket.
think that I'm starting to think this is not based on. This
They
has
include
nothing
a
to
new
do
type
with the
of card whose
Starless
attack and
anymore.
skill
I
effect
think the
change
Starless are
depending
getting
on the
tossed
turn they're
into the
summoned.
tossed to the side.
Gotcha.
In addition,
Could be.
cards to counter line movement strategies will also be added. These cards can, for example, apply debuffs in response to movement or inflict immobilization effects on allies. Furthermore, new Idola cards featuring Destiny Divergence will be added, and Fildian Lutina from Phantasy Star Nova, as well as Duna from PSO2ES, will also make their debut.
Destiny Divergence was basically a feature in
In addition,
Idola that
Stargates
allowed
include
you
exclusive
to
art for the
take
new
a
cards
character
added
down
in this
2
update,
different
as on the
paths
list,
and
Melfon
basically
Sienna,
gave you
Marlu, and Io.
wow, it's been so long. The names of things are slipping me.
You can
Basically a
obtain up to 3
light
copies
path
each
and a
card,
dark
So
path.
feel free to fill up your deck with these limited edition cards. The card recycle shop will receive new additions as well, including music discs featuring Line Strike Battle background music and ARKS ID background using artwork from last year's Super Genesis Festival. That's not all. Idola themed sleeves and playmats featuring Chaos Divergence songstress outfit illustrations will be available too. Next, let's take a look at PSO2ES Weaponoid Style April.
Thank you, Arwen. Yes, Law and
Use
Chaos.
the avatar items and emotes from the scratch ticket to cosplay as Weaponoids, characters born from weapons who appear in PSO2. In this second installment, we're featuring items related to Anaki's Himmel, Rap Cruller, and Finn Blail.
I think for the Law side, their power emanated from the kinds of equipment and gems that they wore, while for the Chaos side, it was more based on the tattoos they
Weaponoid
wore.
coasters will be available in the Creative Space Build Parts shop, so don't miss those either. The new limited time quest, Drill Flaming Hell Dash, starts on April 28th. As in the limited time quest, Drill Flaming Wave Dash that launches on April 22nd, you'll be gliding over lava on a floating board in this solo quest, aiming to defeat the boss enemy lurking in the final area. This course features additional obstacles, so use the board skills you've owned in the limited time quest Drill Flaming Wave Dash to make your way through unscathed. ARKS records will also be held for this quest, so aim for that high score. There will be a title task added to go with this limited time quest. Complete the task and claim your title. That concludes the update information for today. Moving on to the next segment. NGS Operation Report. In this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I will share answers from the development and live ops teams in response to player questions and comments.
Let's see if the dev team says anything about the story chapter.
This time, before we get to the letter from the developers, I have a video message from the development team to all the ARKs out there for playing the global version of NGS. Let's take a look.
We would like to thank all the ARKs out there playing the global version of NGS. My name is Hamazaki. I am the series director. April of this year marks the 6th anniversary of the launch of the global version of Phantasy Star Online 2. The entire development and operations team extends our heartfelt thanks to all ARKS defenders who have continued playing for many years, as well as those just starting their journey on Halpha. To express our gratitude, we would like to share some information with you on the upcoming updates and improvements. The long-awaited new story arrives tomorrow after maintenance. The part we're releasing this time is positioned as a prologue to a new chapter. Installments in this new chapter will arrive every 4 months. There's a lot to look forward to, including the debut of a new heroine and a character whose voice you may recognize. The story gets underway in earnest this August with an expanded narrative. Don't miss it. For those who have been playing since PSO2, the June update and the Super Fantasy Festival in August will see the return of familiar fields and enemies, accompanied by new gameplay and actions.
I do appreciate that they're at least trying to level set with what's going to be in tomorrow, in tomorrow's story release.
Even further.
True. Voice we may recognize.
Face options for animatic face.
I wonder if we're going to hear from Zhao.
Cute animal-like faces. So
Wouldn't that be nice? Or Sierra, or
we would also like to express
Matoy.
our sincere gratitude for all the feedback and comments we receive on a daily basis. While it is difficult to address every comment we receive, we have actually implemented changes based on the feedback from players of the global version, such as adding the ability to exchange gathering materials at the seasonal points exchange shop during the Super Origin Festival in April.
Okay. So I can actually make use of all that junk I have in my storage.
Finally, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for your support of and participation in global
That might be
community
Alpha?
events.
I don't know.
Live streams like Phantasy Star House Party are made possible by the support of players around the world. Alyssa from the Sega Global staff would also like to express her gratitude to all players as we get ready to mark the 6th anniversary of the PSO2 global version launch. Thanks again to all the ARKS defenders out there. We are still going strong after 6 years thanks to you. As always,
Messaging,
there
you
are
don't think
more
that would be
updates planned
doo-doo?
for the future, so keep smashing rappies and stacking star gems. Back to Hasegawa-san.
I don't know. Despite he always had what I would
How was
consider a
it?
comical
Thank you for
voice.
continuing to play
That's
NGS.
true.
Next up is the letter from the developers. Allow me to read it to you. We would like to thank all the ARKs out there for continuing to play NGS. Next, we would like to share more info on some of the topics introduced during this program in the form of a letter from the
Oh
developers.
yeah, Pietro.
First up is the long-awaited new story that finally starts in April. The story that will be released in April serves as a prologue to a new chapter, featuring episodes that set the stage for
I'm
the
curious
new
what's on the
story to come.
JP stream then.
We will be releasing a new chapter every 4 months. The story begins in earnest this August as the new ARK's plot begins to unfold.
You see the particles surrounding the arcs that are
The
fighting her,
story will
right?
be more epic than ever, so be sure to
Something's
tune
corrupting arcs who enter this.
Yeah, I
into
see
the
that
Ultimate
now,
Realm.
yeah.
in. Next, we'd like to introduce the new heroine who appeared in the story promo video.
Kind of looks like
Lost
one of
Her
the old
Memories.
fields that you could get as equipment back in PSO.
Who exactly is this girl? How will she meet the main characters? And how will she become involved in the story?
It had better be more than
This
just
will be
30
a
minutes
major
at this
plot point in
point.
the story
I
going forward.
agree.
So we hope you're eager to
Uh,
find out more.
We had,
We'd also like to introduce the major
yeah,
target
no,
suppression
it definitely needs to be
Luther,
more than 30
False
minutes, or
Conqueror
else it's
Manifest.
just another mini episode at that point.
This high-difficulty version of the limited-time urgent quest, Ruin Luther, will be
And not
released as a
padded with,
standing quest.
kill quests and such.
The Ruin Luther you'll face in this quest has new tricks up its sleeves, including a new attack, as well as harsher attacks as he swiftly switches between slow, haste, and reverse time manipulation modes.
Okay, so the
We've
global
also
version
added a
today
dangerous
of
new gameplay
Headline is just
mechanic
getting
that
a
could
little
lead
extra
to a
something.
wipeout on your first attempt, as well as a mysterious new mode that might leave you scratching your head. If you think you know Ruin Luther from this urgent quest or trigger quest, think again. Make sure you're geared up before giving this one a try.
The team might be getting what
Moving on to drop
they
rewards. You'll be able to get your hands on
Sega Pearl might be
legendary
getting
four-rare
a
Elixir
whisper in the
weapon series
ear
for the first time.
from
Plus,
Sega
weapon
Corporate
camo of
saying
the Arch,
Global is
Beat Radio,
currently
and
floundering
Operadia
badly.
series.
It's time to get.
Going forward, we plan to release new
But
content
then again, I
every
don't
2
think
months
any
that will put
version
your
of
upgraded
NGS
gear and playing
Global
skills to
or
the test.
Japanese is
Keep your
doing
eyes
all that
peeled.
well.
The last thing we'd like to talk about today is the new limited time quest, Drill Flaming Wave Dash. In this new limited time quest, you'll navigate a course on a floating board, aiming to defeat the boss enemy in the final area. We designed this to be a tense level, with players making their way through a harsh lava-filled environment on floating boards, dashing past infernals before they explode and battling over a sea of lava. If you manage to make it through, you'll face a new enemy called a High Wowlon. In addition to a new look, we've designed this new Wowlon to offer an upgraded combat experience with powerful attacks.
Yeah,
Take
it
it on
doesn't
for
make any
yourself and
sense
see
that they
just how
didn't bring out
formidable it
Vol
is.
Dragon for this thing.
That's all for the letter
I
from the
just
developers.
thing is, I think the X
We will
Dragon was
continue working
in
to deliver
production
engaging stories
for a
and
while.
content
I
for
don't
all
think
arts
they
and players to
have,
enjoy.
considering how slow they are to actually produce new enemies. I
We hope you will
suspect
continue to enjoy
that they don't
NGS.
haven't even begun on a Vol Dragon conversion.
Could be,
That
yeah.
was a letter from the developers.
And as much as I would love
As we
to,
move
for
on
there
to
to
the
be
next
lore
section,
reasons
I
for
have
that,
answers to
it
players'
probably is
questions
not
and
the
comments
case.
from the development and live operations teams. Here's the first one. Is there any way to search for specific augment combinations in storage? Here is their response. In an April update, we'll be adding a function to the inventory and
If
storage
they do
UI
that, there's
that
going.
allows you to search keywords.
they
You're
do
not the
a
only one,
global-
Arwen.
There was.
You'll be able to search for
Yeah,
shorted
but I also think.
space maintain or
Well, actually, no. There
BYE
is a
space
very good
backup
chance they
stand,
may
for
end up
example.
service global at this point.
Let's move on to the next question.
I don't think. I think if they do
We can
that,
only
they're
load
going to
100
get there.
results
It's
using
only
load
going to cause
creation
a
data
further
in the
collapse.
That's not nearly enough. Is
Wouldn't
there
be the
anything
first
you can
time
do to
Sega has
increase
done it.
this?
They did it to Phantasy Star Universe as well.
Because they had literally no choice.
In a June update, we'll change this to allow PC and cloud version users to load up to 1,000 results. We hope this will make character creation more enjoyable. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you. Please share your thoughts and opinions about this program and the game on X and other social media using the same hashtag as the previous
Oh, there's no
headline
question
series.
about it,
Hashtag NGS Headline
V3.
Wave.
It's,
Yep.
Moving on to the next segment.
at this point, we're it's not quite a dead horse yet, but, you know, we're getting
Let's
there.
move on from updates and talk about some other NGS-related info. I'm sure it will get you even more hyped
I mean,
to
it's
play
not
the game.
a surprise certain news is coming up later in
Let's
this
start
stream.
with
It's
this.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be holding a campaign to commemorate the release of Chapter 8 of the main story. Complete story Chapter 7, The Great Threat, and receive 1.5 million Enmuseta. Even if you've already completed this chapter, you can still redeem this reward, so be sure to log in and get yours. Additionally, you can receive 1 million Enmuseta by playing through Chapter 8, which releases on April 1st. Exciting new developments await in this new chapter, so stay
Half the
tuned.
problem at this point is, yeah,
A
not.
new treasure
I
scratch
was in the
releases on
exact
April
same
7th.
place. I was very happy because I thought
Weapon
this was
camo
going to
and
be
useful items are up
we
for
were
grabs,
going to get
so be sure to
improvement
complete
on
tasks and rake in those
further
treasure
improvement on a
scratch
pretty
tickets.
good game. And then
To commemorate the 5th anniversary
what
of
apparently
NGS,
happened is
we'll be
that they
holding a
traded the
fabulous
old
jam-packed
staff who
Super
stayed over
Origin
in
Festival
Tokyo
campaign starting
for a
April
new
22nd.
staff that's basically never played anything but
We've got
cell
tons
phone
of awesome
games.
events, including an SG scratch ticket offer,
So they're
up to
completely out of
300
touch
free
with the
draws
player
and a limited
base,
time urgent quest.
despite the claims Sega has been making.
Enjoy the 5th anniversary of PSO2
I remember I
New
was
Genesis
calling
to the fullest.
for an expansion or something way
Let's talk about
for
the 10 a
at
day
least a little
free
while
SG
before they
scratch.
made any mention of New Genesis
This
whatsoever.
free scratch ticket contains special new anniversary items, including outfits, hairstyles, accessories, and more.
It just felt like the natural point
Log
to
in
finally
every day
do
and
that.
try your luck at these new items. We'll also be holding a Super SG item recycle at the same time, where you can exchange for Super Origin Festival 2026 SP scratch tickets and reward box medals. Next
All we
up
can
is
do
a
is hope
reward
that
box
Sega
linked
learns
to
from
limited
this
time
and
urgent quests.
whatever they've got planned for the future at
This
least
reward
will
box contains 50%
help
more
to,
star gems, beta reactors, and silver
bring the
Bane
series back to a
scratch
high
tickets.
point. But we'll let the future
You'll earn a
show us
special
that one.
accessory if you manage to empty the reward box.
My suspicion, well, a
There
lot of
will
people have
also
been
be
suspecting that
pre-announced urgent
Sega
quests that
has
can be
a
completed
sequel,
twice.
has a
Take on these urgent quests and stock up on those
sequel
reward box
to
medals.
has a sequel Phantasy Star game in the works right now.
Yeah.
So
Bountiful bargains.
Yeah, and
await you
we
in
saw
our treasure
saw
hunt
those
sale.
job
Get
postings.
Sprigio series weapons with
We're still
preset skills
a couple of
and
years
forged
away, I
armor,
would think,
as
from any
well
kind
as
of an
upgrade
announcement,
materials like
but
Pro-grade grinder at fantastic prices.
that definitely seemed Phantasy
Powerful
Star
boosts for some
related
upgradable equipment will be active,
when we saw
so take
those
this
job
opportunity to
postings.
upgrade and enhance your gear.
What was it, like last year or the year before at this point?
Can never have too many pro-grade grinders. An ARKS Cash Super Sale will be held for Super Origin Festival.
yes, you can. Do you see?
This is
You
your
haven't
chance
seen
to
my
get a
stock
good
of
deal on
pro
AC.
grinders.
Get 2,310 AC on sale for just $9.99 from the PSO2NGS web store. This is the best deal out of all the stores, so don't miss out. And of course, we have a bevy of fabulous and familiar campaigns lined up, including a Use the Salon to Your Heart's Content campaign, high rate boosts, and a Halfa's Super Origin Gifts campaign, which gives 10 SP Scratch tickets weekly. The party is going non-stop throughout April and May in NGS. We are excited to announce a series of animated shorts of Central, the serialized comic on the official NGS website. We've carefully selected 24 episodes from Central to have their lines newly recorded by the Japanese cast of NGS. These will feature English subtitles.
Okay, this is at least something
Headline Wave. We plan on featuring
kind of fun that
episodes
might be
at the
coming
end
up
of each
here, because I
broadcast.
remember when they did the original
Received a comment from Central's
run of
artist
this back in
Fujichi to commemorate this
PSO2. It's been so
Thank you all
long,
for
I
reading
can't even
Central.
remember what that series was called again.
Thanks to all of you,
Uh,
Central will be
Fusoni.
getting adapted into a series of animated shorts. The comic features some NPCs, which don't get many lines in-game,
That
so
doesn't
seeing them in action
sound
is something
right.
I'm really looking forward to myself.
You might be right. Let me see.
And I hope you all continue to enjoy the comic and these new animated shorts. And it's a bit early to say this, but happy
Uso
5th
Kami.
anniversary to
There we go.
NGS.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fudachin. So, to reiterate, the Central animated shorts will be featured starting with the next Headline Wave broadcast. We hope you look forward to getting a peek into the NPC's daily lives and goofy misadventures. You can get special deals on in-game items in the web-exclusive PSO2NGS web store. In addition to store bonuses that provide additional value over regular AC purchases, it features an exclusive 55% off discount on your first purchase of select items. Please be aware the AC purchased from the PSO2NGS web store cannot be used on the PS4 version. The PSO2NGS web store can be accessed from the NGS official website. Hover over Buy AC on the official website or game launcher, then select Web Store. Please note that the web store cannot be accessed from in-game. That's all for the satellite information. Next, we have a regular mini-segment where we highlight something NGS-related, such as concept art, in-game songs, and aggregated data, and delve into it with commentary from the development team. Today, we're going to be reviewing The Cats of Central City. We've received comments from the development team about this feature.
Oh no, the cat lore.
Yeah, that's
If
the
you
one
walk around
thing
the
that
city we call home, you
I've
can
never
spot
really
cats lounging
addressed,
around in all
but
sorts of places.
yeah, there is cat lore.
But did you realize that they'll actually be in different locations during different events? And sometimes even dress up? And apparently, there's even one former top alley cat out there who met his soulmate in Central City and retired from that life to raise a family. Sounds like quite a story. And let's not forget Snuggly Cat, who appears as a build part. This fluffy feline is worth its weight in cuteness, especially with all the fine details like its wiggly ears and its tummy breathing in and out.
Oh,
Yeah, but
wouldn't
where
that
do
be
you get
fun,
the magic
Betsgen?
And you might remember Meowdera from the PSO2NGS official comic Central. Apparently, Meowdera can be found somewhere visiting Halfon's special events like anniversary celebrations. Keep an eye out when you're exploring the fields. What did you think? We will discuss other concept art and songs in the coming episodes, so we hope you'll look forward to that. That's all for this episode of NGS Headline Wave. This broadcast strives to make NGS even better by collecting audience input. Please share your thoughts and feedback on this program and the game by using the same hashtag as previous broadcasts, hashtag NGS Headline, on X and other social media. Together, we can make NGS an even more fantastic game. Ta-da! Look at this! I got a fancy anniversary balloon! The 5th anniversary is coming soon, so...
Not Nadara, it was
I will continue to
Meowdera.
share information on updates coming to NGS and work with everyone to make NGS more fun for everyone. Thank you for continuing to enjoy NGS. The next episode of NGS Headline Wave will be released on a different day of the week than usual, Friday, April 24th.
Doing this one
We'll be
early.
focusing mainly on the updates coming in May. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I guess we are getting kind of close to Golden Week.
Now then,
Is that
Arks,
right?
I'll see you in the next NGS Headline
I
Wave.
don't know when Golden Week is.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's the headline for this month, or for April rather. Let's bring us back to this here. Do you have any other thoughts here on what they showed today?
I kind of blurted it out, but part of my frustration is so there are plot threads connected to the player character that they have been ignoring since launch, particularly the player's own missing memories, and we instead now have another new character that's all about missing memories. And my current worry is, instead of resolving the player character's own missing memories, we're going to be focusing on this new character out of nowhere that, honestly, I don't think I'm going to care about any more than I cared about than I really cared about well, it shows how much I care about them. The two main heroines. Can't believe I'm blanking on the names.
Ina and Manon?
Yes, Ina and Manon.
Yeah, I guess, if we're gonna have to see kind of where all the weirdness plays into that with the quest that we mentioned at the top of the show, because one thing that could be in play here is somehow our character is from wherever she comes from, and if that's the case, then it kind of goes to the thought of, is all this stuff with the Starless and the Alter Realm, is this all like going back to the concept of parallel areas that we saw back in PSO2?
Wouldn't it be interesting if the Alpha universe is the parallel area and our original one? Wait a second, Ernie keeps saying.
No, you're on the same track that I am on that, and I think I had even possibly called for a concept like that, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But it was just a fleeting thought I had at the time. It wasn't anything serious, but it also goes back to what I said I might try to do to fix the story, to basically give the players a choice to, whether it be to continue on with New Genesis or to go back in time. Back to PSO2 after episode 6 to warn everybody about the Starless. But if the Starless was, if they were always a threat from a parallel area, that kind of changes things a little bit.
So, Earning Key just brought up an interesting idea. So I'm going to bring. So I posted it in Dawns ARKS General, and what he's saying is, for your information, there's some odd phrasing that they use in the headline around the face type options there, and they're released in August specifically. Maybe pointing to return of the Lycan race. They've been, I caught a hold of that. And I thought, wait, are they actually going to finally add proper furry races to this game? Oh dear, that's going to make things a bit weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically Newman are... Okay, nah, we're not gonna go there. But, I mean, technically... What? Actually, the Doomen, they're part dragon, if I remember correctly, because of the, oh, what was it? The, Kuna's partner, Hadrid, and his race.
But yeah, but what he's bringing back is there's something that a lot of people don't know about, but about the original trilogy is that that humans were not one of the original races of those planets.
Right.
There was originally a Lycan race that apparently was wiped out by the humans when they arrived, and that's how. So there is actually a precedent for it.
Yep.
We can hope, but I have a hard time believing that this development team is thinking that deeply into the lore.
Yeah, and how do you make that kind of leap at the same time? That's we got to see how that all plays out. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, if they bring in another race, then great. Granted, I was calling since near the start of New Genesis that the dolls were going to be the next new race. But we'll see what happens here. Alright, so let me get this up on screen here. Because we actually did get the patch notes early for once. So we can take a quick look through those here. So, let me make sure this is all looking correct. This is actually a little short right now. There we go. Okay. So, as they mentioned earlier, we do have the Slayer adjustments coming in. So, it's a whole bunch of potency updates here. Let me shrink that so you're not getting covered there, Arwen.
The Ohio Earthmen wiping out the Almond Wolf people with silver weapons.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Arwen, you were the one that first pointed it out that people came from Ohio, didn't you? Or at least some of them did. Yeah, when you really start to get into the early development points in the early Phantasy Star games, things get crazy.
Like, we kind of have an idea, because believe it or not, NGS, well, not Phantasy Star may actually have dictated Sonic's ultimate end already before he was even his first game released. So it's one of those things where I'm not going to go any deeper into that, because it's one of the things I want to kind of eventually drop in front of the Sonic fandom to see them go up in flames. But that is something that can come up.
Yeah, the Ohario, yeah, the Elise was not Sonic's first, but we'll get there. All right. Let's see here. So basically potency increases across the board for Slayer here. And yeah, it's a whole bunch of changes that they're bringing in. They covered most of this, I think, during the broadcast here. They decreased the photon point cost for Type 3 attacks, for shifting Micah and waving Rigel. Yeah, exactly. Arwen. Under players, they adjusted the description of the Celeste X-Style skill, Celeste Flawless, The skill's behavior has not been changed. They added effects to telegraph some of Grand Miser's attacks. Which... why did they need to do that when we were fine with that? Not having that back in base PSO2? So, for quests and fields, they made the following adjustments to Alter Realm Exploration, Altered Battle Line Tundra Area Gorge. They increased the enemy level to 115, and they increased the battle powered required. They adjusted the Alter Realm Exploration and Nameless City Exploration so that only the party leader leaves when the party leader abandons the quest instead of taking the party members with them. And they adjusted main story chapter 7 follow-up chapter and the stars fell so that the commemorative photo scene is not triggered after quest clear.
So I'm going to bring up why they set it up so that the party leader leaving did not take the entire party with them. And that was because there were some people who were setting up parties and purposely leaving the quest just to troll people. It was becoming a huge issue.
Yep. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to do that for all the quests?
It would.
Right.
Also, it makes it difficult. Also, sometimes having the party... it can also make it difficult for the party to stick together if it applied to everything.
That's true. Although, using a password would kind of take care of most of that, wouldn't it?
Yes, but it's not a feature most people are completely... It's not a very often used feature that people would think of, unfortunately.
That's true.
In many ways, I would say that there's a lot of... I would say the people who... A lot of the people who are still playing NGS religiously right now are not exactly what you would call the brightest stars in the sky.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it for now. Moving on to interface here, added a feature that allows multiple words to be searched in the inventory and storage item search. You can search multiple words by separating the search terms with spaces. They changed the item sort on all interfaces to save your settings until you exit the game. Adjusted the put up for sale window in the personal shop so that the initial price value is set to the price of the last item put up for sale. I remember them talking about that during the headline. Let's see. Let me kind of skip through some of this here. I think a lot of this actually I remember them talking about here. And we know that they were making changes to the salon here. But added an option to display slider values on the Customize Expressions menu in the salon. They changed the motion change specifications so that equipped katana weapons and their weapon camos are reflected. And they added an option to copy colors in the color settings menu in the salon. And then, of course, we got the 14-star rarity Arba Radio series, which is coming in for exchange. We got the new skill rings. And the apparently they changed the descriptions on some of them. And they adjusted the brightness of the attack visual effects for the Fluxio series and the Rinser series. They got some stuff in here about Line Strike. And then begin trial operation of a feature that restricts gameplay content for accounts that engage in abandonment. So they're finally doing something about that, actually. Accounts that meet specific criteria after receiving abandonment reports from other players will be subject to these restrictions. to report abandonment, open up the main menu, select nearby characters, select the relevant character, select report this player for the miscellaneous from the miscellaneous drop-down, and select abandonment from the list of report categories and send. And then they confirmed an issue, actually post Chapter 8, whereby the weather conditions may not be displayed correctly. So that kind of brings up the question, is there going to be something happening in Chapter 8 that changes the weather? And then we got some bugs that that need to be fixed. Well, they say bugs to be fixed, but then they say they fixed a bug here in the DPS display where the numbers were sometimes updated to even after some enemies had been defeated. We're going to skip through all these bug fixes here because it's a lot here. But yeah, that's basically what we're looking at in terms of the patch notes here on top of what they said in the headline here. So, at least tomorrow things are going to be interesting with the story, hopefully, even though we're just getting a prologue. As mentioned before, hopefully it lasts longer than 30 minutes, or else, at least in my take, it's going to be, I would classify it more as a mini episode. So, we'll have to see. They basically only. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking we had better get a proper story quest this time.
Yep. You know, just based on what you saw earlier, and pointed out to me, the fact that the characters had been, they looked like they had been infected by something. That kind of goes back to something I said a while back, whereby it seemed like it was the story of New Genesis was kind of following the story of, and I can't remember what the movie is again. But it's
Xander or Arwen brought up that it's similar to Maze Runner.
Maze Runner, yeah, and that basically the next step was going to be to check for resistance to infection, and if this is that step now, then Zephetto may very much well be still with us at this point.
It may explain why Fyra kind of blanked out during the quest, during that urgent quest.
Yep. So, we'll have to see. We might not get an answer on that tomorrow. We might have to wait until August. Alright, but that's the patch notes. I did have a few other things pulled up for New Genesis here in terms of updates that had happened previously. So, effects for some Ranger class skills under certain conditions. They've identified a bug that causes the effects for the Ranger class skill Blight Rounds reinforce, and Blight Rounds self-benefit to sometimes end when an enemy part that was hit by Blight Rounds is destroyed, and they're working on a fix for that. They are updating the level skip AC item, so basically they're increasing it up to level 110 now, starting after maintenance today. And the Yeti Augment Select is headed your way, so that is going to be coming as part of...
More pay to win.
Yep. It's coming in May, it looks like, so... Yeah, another reason for players not to work towards building new weapons or units yet. Even though they're releasing this the new series apparently. All right, that's it for New Genesis. Let's move on to other news. We got some actually really big news. Like this is huge for longtime players that have not been able to that have been wanting this for such a long time. And even I made a video about this last year about the state of Phantasy Star Universe Episode 3. There's finally an update on that, and it comes to us from the Clementine team, who's been working on a separate server called Astrum, which is going to be more vanilla-like compared to what Clementine is. But effectively, Adam made a post on the Astrum Discord. And basically, they're talking about APCs, which are partner characters. They say that they're now almost fully implemented, and since this was one of the largest remaining features left to be built, it brings the server very close to supporting the entire online version of the game. As it stands right now, you can obtain partner cards for APCs, invite them to your party, and run missions with them. They equip weapons, use photon arts, fight enemies, and occasionally chat. On top of that, Adam was really happy to say that with APC support in place, it is now possible to play through the entirety of Episode 2 online. And also thanks to Agrajog, who I had pointed out in that video last year as well, Episode 3 is now also fully available as well. So you'll be able to experience that for yourself in its entirety.
Being that Brightstar here will finally be able to complete the Phantasy Star universe playthrough.
Yep, there's something that I gotta take care of first before we get to that. I'll talk about that more probably next month, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, this is absolutely huge news, and it's been what, over a decade since players have been able to play Episode 3 of Phantasy Star Universe, and there was always this question of, did anybody have Episode 3 backed up? And thank goodness Agrajog did. I don't know if they kept gas or not, but it's, yeah, this, that, I think that was the pay system that they had. But, yeah, this right here was the big news from...
I thought that stood for Guardian Advanced Style.
Oh, you're right. You know what? Gas,
I think that's already implemented, isn't it?
Yeah, that is, on Clementine, or at least a version of it is. No, I'm thinking of Guardian's Cash, which was a Japanese version exclusive. Go ahead.
Yeah, the precursor to AC.
Yeah. So, yep, Episode 3 finally playable after all this time. Oh, for the new server, I don't know. I didn't see that, but I would assume they've got some version of it. Alright, let's move on to the other news that's coming from the Clementine team. Not only did we have this, but they're also now talking more about Starlight at this point here. And they put out 2 huge development posts here, so we're going to go through both of these. These are going to take us a little bit to go through, but this really gives us a hint into how much progress they've made on that server here. So, they first talk about bosses. So they say Balrodus map now contains functional guns and hook turret. They now understand how to make bosses regenerate breakable parts, like Elder, for example. The Dragon Emergency Quest is now mostly functional, minus the Laconium Sword part and final attack. So they're talking about Episode 5, Red Dragon, and the Black Dragon. The Apostorios is now functional. For emergency codes, Gale Wolf's is a thing now. Time bombs are functional. And the buys are showing signs of life, but they aren't there just quite yet. For a system, as previously shared, titles are being researched. Gun turrets of all kinds are mostly functional. Logic related to objects like switches, hidden triggers, fences, and etc. are a bit more well understood at this point. And quest conditions are slowly being figured out. Quest timer scoring and maximum deaths allowed and such. And then Jakku goes on to say they'd like to make posts like this more often. They're in the thick of planning for better re-implementation of features, and they'd like to keep everyone in the loop whenever possible. And they also wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who's around sharing their passion and ideas about the project. Also, a wonderfully large thank you to everyone who's jumping in to help out with Starlight. And the project wouldn't be as special if it wasn't for everyone. And they say thank you. Let's move on to the second development post now. So, for skills, they've been slowly working on doing a pass over class skills to get them working properly over the prior 3 weeks. Most stats-based skills are implemented. Weapon gear for most classes are functional. Fighter's limit break has been figured out. Weak bullet is now showing signs of life, with a few bugs left to iron out. Force and Tekker's skills are all implemented with the exception of element-specific skills. And Brave Bouncer and Hero are almost fully implemented now. Yeah, that would be the hope, Arwen. If they need examples of how that worked, I have videos from that time way earlier on my channel that shows how the tablet dropped out of the sky.
A problem they might run into is that may have been dummied out at this point.
It's
they
possible.
may be working with the old. They may actually have. They may be working with the final non-graphical update version of PSO2, and that may have dummied out most of the Matterboard stuff, which is sad. I absolutely loved how the Matterboard handled the story. It slowed things down just enough so you could actually enjoy it. And yeah, for all its issues, it's still... It's ironically, it would have been perfect for NGS had the development team not been scared off of it from the bad response players had for it.
I'd agree on that. Yeah. Having the Matterboard would certainly have stretched the chapters out a bit more than what we got, and actually made you go more out into the field rather than it just being, story quests and then story events, and that was it. It's possible they might. If they're working from episode 6, then yeah, it is possible it's been dummied out. But I wonder if somebody were to... I wonder if anybody, saved the episode 3 client before that got upgraded to episode 4. If anybody has that, then that might be a way for them to possibly re-implement that feature.
This is kind of a... This is kind of a hopeful, but maybe some possibility of a...
You know what? I just thought of something. The PlayStation 4 version of Phantasy Star Online 2, it only had episode 4 on there, but they hadn't done the Omnibus update yet. So that should still be there. So if somebody has the PlayStation 4 physical disc, they should be able to extract it from there. I don't know if the files would work directly, though, if you just simply copy them over to the PC version, though.
Oh, I'm also thinking as possibly a decomp project may be necessary here.
Okay, Arwen's saying that episode 3 is backed up by several people, so yeah, if somebody can throw that up on Internet Archive or something, that would probably be a really key thing to making this happen then. If the Starlight team wants to do it, that is. Anyway, go ahead.
From what it sounds like here, they actually may have a lot of control over how the server works if they have to actually implement the, how the guns and such work on there separately. It may be just...
Yeah, I kind of remember that, Arwen. Yeah, a little bit. And then there was another one that was being worked on by somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was that was stopped during episode 2 though, so it wouldn't have everything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It may be something, maybe a scripting thing for the Matterboard stuff. That might be all the main issue.
Possibly. We'll have to see. And then, I would love the opportunity to work with the Starlight team once they have everything working to, possibly expand the story even further than episode 6. But we'll let them get to a working server first.
Yeah.
Hey there, Janice. Thanks for tuning in. All right, let's move on to the second development post here. So, well, we kind of started into it here. So Fighter's Limit Break has been figured out. Yeah, okay, so we're on to reworks and performance at this point. So, they spent some time reworking the legacy code, that they understand more of it. And with this, they made the server both more performant as well as easier to work with. So object loading and handling is now more accurate and simplified. Emergency codes have received the same treatment, and server performance has doubled, and in some cases tripled.
Good.
And then for affixes, thanks to Boom's efforts in data filling, they've implemented a large chunk of non-special affixes for the server to handle. So they've implemented roughly 500 affixes data. And then units can now have affixes. And affixes can randomly drop on gear, depending on the drop table's allowed affixes.
I do have a quality of life suggestion for the affixes. Basically, the biggest thing that made an affixes unapproachable for new players was that you had, well, for a lot of players, was how complicated, how you had to upslot units and stuff, equipment, to be able to get them to work with each other. And the affixes table, like, yet you could only use a 4 slot with other 4 slots or higher. So my recommendation would be removing that limitation. Again, so you can use a 1 slot when affixing with other slots when affixing. And that would make this whole system a whole lot easier across the board.
Yeah, we gotta see how vanilla they want to stick with this server. Or if they want to maybe do 2 versions where it's vanilla and then basically a server that implements quality of life like that and adds additional missions and things like that. We'll have to see how they want to do this. I think I recall them saying though that they wanted to keep things at least initially vanilla.
Understandable. Get the game into preservation shape and then go for the fan enhancements.
Yeah, Clementine kind of worked reverse of that, where it was they got the server working, but it wasn't. Basically, the numbers were really crazy, and it's just as of lately that thanks to the work on their Astrum server, that they're going to implement a more vanilla Phantasy Star universe fairly soon. Okay, moving on. So, clothing has received some love in the form of functionality and obtainability. So, clothing can now be properly recolored in the salon. Most 2012 to 2021 scratches have been implemented with their main table being filled out. Thanks to Power Shoes for that. And the SG shop is now functional. And, from there, they say, thank you so much for joining us today. The project is growing strong with no signs of stopping. They've got more to share, but they're at Discord's character limit. So, no date announced, though, for when this server is actually going to come out, so we'll have to see. But best of luck to them with getting this thing up and running. Alright, and then, let's see. Yeah, that would be nice, Arwen. Yeah, the balance of episode 3 was actually pretty good before they really started to go crazy with the numbers, with not to mention adding in all the extra attacks that different classes got. The cleave attack that Hunter had, for example, that thing was really, really powerful. Not to mention you also had your Dark Blast scaling and all that sort of stuff. Alright, the last thing we have here is from Affinia, and for that, the Easter event has begun. So, event eggs can drop from any enemy killed. The item, these items drop at a rate of 1 out of 2,000 in normal, 1 out of 1,800 in hard, 1 out of 1,200 in very hard, and 1 out of 500 in ultimate. Event eggs also receive a boost to their drop rate in the RBR quests, so plus 15% with 1 player, 20% with 2 players, and 25% with 3 or 4 players. And note that the egg shop is currently offline. The shop needs an update with the servers, but they have a number of other back-end changes that haven't finished yet, and it's too difficult to split these changes at the moment, so they'll likely perform this update either this week or next week. And then they said that we're going to post an event thread, but I can't find it on their forum, so I'm not quite sure what all the details beyond this are. But with that is everything that I have here for news from around the community. Brooks, is there anything else you want to bring up here today?
Not that I can think of right now.
All right. I know people are looking forward to when I go through the story chapter. I will say that I do have an early morning appointment, so I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow morning when it releases. It'll either be in the evening or more likely on Thursday that I will be going through the new chapter when that releases for New Genesis. So, just to give you all the notice about that, so. But with that is going to bring us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Brooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. The day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good day.